your energy is your most valuable and treasure thing that you can be master of, to direct your life and your destiny the way you want, beloved. So giving in into your compulsion is certainly does not serve your highest good. To become your own inner guru, it means that you have become a master yourself into your own energy, and you have walked from untruth to truth, darkness to light, ignorance to enlightenment, and that you are empowered to have the life you want, and to move on and attain liberation. So when we talk about sexuality, I have a lot to share on that subject, and I decided to openly talk publicly about this when I was so shocked when I found out that, did you know, beloved, maybe the percentage might be a little lower, a little higher, but over 70% of the material online is pornography. And it says something about what's happening on our planet. So sexuality is a big subject, and for many people it's taboo, but it's time that we talk about it publicly, and to say sexuality can be something very beautiful, and there's no need to be ashamed of it. But where it becomes a real challenge is for you, beloved, if it's not used, you're not using your energy properly, and it doesn't serve you, your spiritual unfoldment, your spiritual development, your spiritual awakening, and Kundalini arising. And so we're going to look at three main key point element of that you're probably not aware, or maybe you just know a little bit, or it could be completely new, or maybe you're aware. But especially if you're a sincere seeker, you have a deep longing and you really want to gain and move rapidly on the spiritual path, stay tuned, because this will be very insightful for you. And yeah, I was so shocked to hear that 70% of what's online is pornography. And this is where it becomes a real big obstacle for you, sincere seeker, is sexuality when it's used in a way that with indulgence. So number one is any kind of excess indulgence in sex will definitely affect your Virya. Virya, we talked a little bit about that in previous video, but let's recap if some of you don't know, never heard. Virya is extremely important. It's a word coming from Sanskrit. It means the true essence of who you are, the virility of who you are, your potency. The potency is like, it's so deeply ingrained into your physical body and your subtle body, and it's what makes you radiant beside your aura. The Virya can be transmuted into Oja. And so when there's an indulgence in sexuality, and this is for you, female and male, not just for male here, we all have Virya. And when there's strong Virya in Oja, you can see it in the sparkle of the eye of the person. It's an inner force, and it helps you, the Oja helps you to develop spiritual siddhi. And we're getting to number two is exactly that. Indulgence in sexuality, either pornography or just sex. Could be just excessive sex, or because it will affect your energy, and that's the point of this. It will affect your energy at every level, not just physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It will affect your causal body, your etheric body, your entire subtle body. And it will be depleting. It will bring a debility and weakness, because overexcitement of sexuality, either in masturbation or in pornography, because those two normally they go together. And by the way, this is question that comes has been coming in, common question there and there from follower around the world and some disciple, especially in the younger generation, because oh my God, when those hormones kick in, boy, this is a real challenge, and we can certainly understand that. But don't feel ashamed, because if you have a sexual addiction and you masturbate and you watch pornography, is that you were not mindful, you were not aware how badly it's affecting you. And again, beloved, Devi Mayi Ma is not bringing a moral issue here, because this is not about that. It's about how to empower you to the highest level for your self-realization, that so you blossom and you're happy, you're in a state of equanimity, you're in a state of bliss and ecstasy. Not to, like some religion, we have seen in religion, you know, to ingrain shame and power over humanity. No, we should never be ashamed of our biology, either male or female. It's a beautiful thing, and lovemaking is a beautiful thing. And so, but here is on the spiritual level, is don't you want to be empowered to the highest level? And so if you're not aware and mindful how your sexuality affect your spiritual awakening, and then you're not becoming a master of yourself. So don't give in your compulsion. And there's some remedy here also, because the opposite of what Devi Mayi Ma talks is also a remedy. And so it is for all my teaching, because here, if you do in excess, of course it will affect your Virya. And so comes number 2, excessive indulgence in masturbation, sex, especially promiscuous sex, a lot of partners, masturbation. It will deplete your Oja. Oja, we talked about that briefly in previous video, but for some of you who don't know, Oja is extremely important for a sincere seeker. When you have a deep longing and you want to merge and to be one with everything. Oja from Sanskrit just means like the pure essence of who you are. And I have used the example of a jasmine flower. You could use it for a rose. When you extract the essence of it, of a lotus, is the pure essence, the pure life force. It's the highest energy of the human body. So when sexual energy is transmuted to the highest and bring it into your brain, into the ajna, the third eye area where the ajna is located here, then you become really an active force spiritually. You develop spiritual seeding. And as a matter of fact, some of you might be aware of that, in the spiritual tradition, chastity, celibacy is very much embraced. Not for moral issue, but because of that. Because you get rid of so much karma, you don't want to take on more karma, and you want to become a force. What I mean by that doesn't mean just be out, active, but just your presence can be a huge force. Your aura, your oja, to be out in the world, just by your presence, just by your energy. So I have said in the past many times, some of you who are familiar with my teaching, you cannot master anything in your life if you don't master your conscious, mindful breathing. And so is the same here with sexuality. not for moral issue, but to look deeply at your life. Do I have a sex addiction? And is that masturbation? Is that pornography? And if it's there in your life, don't you think it's time to get rid of it? It doesn't serve your highest good. Again, it's not a moral issue. It is for your own divinity, for you to become a master of your own energy. And because you become a master of your own energy, you are a master of your own destiny. That means you can manifest the life that you want. It's not what you want. And so, number 3 is Runa na Bandha. We have talked about that in previous video, but the Runa na Bandha, let's talk about deeply about that, a little deeper. Any act, sexual act that involved your physical body, your thoughts, your emotion, your volition, create incredible, epic physical memory. Physical memory is very, very rooted. We have all kinds of memory: physical memory, elemental memory, genetic memory, evolutionary memory, and we can go on. And so the physical memory has definitely genetic and evolutionary. So we're talking about your evolution here, beloved, expansion of consciousness. And so sexuality is normal. Let's embrace our biology. However, is the Runa Bandha has a very strong hold on your physical body. That's why it makes it very difficult when you break with a lover. If you were very sexually involved with a partner, it doesn't matter what your sex orientation is the same, and doesn't matter even with masturbation and pornography, because those two normally go together. There is emotion and there's sexual excitement. You see, beloved, many of you don't realize that on the physical level, beside the Runa Bandha, there is a sexual excitement overstimulate the nervous system, and it's very depleting. It brings a debility in your system and a certain weakness. So if you have a sex addiction and you masturbate every day, all the great work you're doing on your spiritual path is you're basically throwing out the window. You're throwing out your energy. Why would you do this? So the remedy is you need to be more in intense sadhana. It means your energy is still in a much lower chakra, in the Swadhisthana. Swadhisthana is the chakra of pleasure. And normally when you're very sexual, and don't worry, don't beat yourself up, because it will only create more obstacle in your mind, and you're creating more karma. Remember, karma is just a memory, so is the Runa na Bandha. Is the same thing. Runa nu Bandha is a strong physical memory. And so if you start creating more resistance, oh my God, I got an addiction, and how do I get rid of it? And I got to get, and then you go on, then the mind, then you're creating even more karma at the level of the mental body. So be gentle. You can definitely overcome it. And don't worry about it. It's just relax. Become more mindful of your breath. If you're not on the spiritual path, embark on the spiritual path. If you're not doing sadhana, sadhana is spiritual practices, meditation, hatha yoga, especially kriya yoga, mindful practices. It's time to raise this energy, to bring it into your brain, to transform that sexual force into oja. So the whole point of this is convert your Virya into Oja energy. And then addiction will naturally go away. It's a process. As the energy move up, you will see addiction will not even exist in your life. Addiction to any kind of thing, but especially sexuality, is very detrimental on your system, beloved. Not just in terms of your energy. It will create a disturbance in your system, and it creates very strong imprints, samskara, because that's what happened with the Hunana Bandha. In that physical memory, you're constantly creating new samskar. Samskar, karmic impression. Karmic impression become vasana, they become tendency. Tendency of wanting to do pornography, tendency of wanting to masturbate, or tendency to go with this partner, or that partner, or this partner. You see what I'm saying? The body temple remember everything. It will behave and react in such a way. And so if you don't have mastery over your energy, your compulsion will take over, because addiction is a compulsion. And so the first thing happens when your Kundalini start arising and you becoming more and more of your mastery over your energy is that your compulsion go away. You're cutting the puppet string. So, indulgement into all of those sexuality, even if you're not addicted to pornography or masturbation, even with your own partner, if you have excess, it will drain you. Everything in life, you know that already, many of you, moderation is such a wonderful thing. And if you haven't watched that video yet on how spiritual awakening affect your sexuality and how sexuality affect your spiritual awakening and Kundalini arising, watch that coming up video. It will give you a lot of insight and realization. And the remedy is not that difficult. When you have a little longing, even if it's not longing to know who you are and experience your divine presence, at least have the longing to become a master of your own energy. Wouldn't you agree? And so if you love this video, just click the like button, share it with your friends and your family, and don't worry, you can overcome everything. Because within you being, you have a divinity, your divine presence is there. And just do baby step at a time. I'm here for you. Write down your comment. Now, for you, what is it in your life? Where are you? Do you have a sexual addiction? Any pornography, too much of it? Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you're struggling in your partner, with your partner, because you're going through a spiritual awakening, and one is very active, the other one is not. With everything that you have learned right now, what have you gained in terms of realization and insight? What would you do right now differently in your life?